It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. Let me accept the strength God offers me and see no value in this world, that I may find my freedom and deliverance. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. All you need to say to any part of hell is simply this: it is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. I seek my freedom and deliverance, and this is not a part of what I want. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. It is impossible to see two worlds. Hello, thank you all so much for joining me here on, what is today? May the 10th of 2023, Wednesday, lesson 130. It is impossible to see two worlds. And I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and we're reading out of the original edition of A Course in Miracles, Workbook for Students. Okay, well, let's look at our lesson. It is impossible to see two worlds. Perception is consistent. What you see reflects your thinking, and your thinking but reflects your choice of what you want to see. Your values are determiners of this. For what you value, you must want to see, believing what you see is really there. No one can see a world his mind has not accorded value, and no one can fail to look upon what he believes he wants. Yet who can really hate and love at once? Who can desire what he does not want to have reality? And who can choose to see a world of which he is afraid? Fear must make blind, for this its weapon is. Fear must make blind, for this its weapon is. That which you fear to see, you cannot see. Love and perception thus go hand in hand. But fear obscures in darkness what is there. What then can fear project upon the world? What can be seen in darkness that is real? Truth is eclipsed by fear, and what remains is but imagined. Yet what can be real in blind imaginings of panic born? What would you want that this is shown to you? What would you wish to keep in such a dream? Fear has made everything you think you see. All separation, all distinctions, and the multitude of differences you believe make up the world, they are not there. Love's enemy has made them up. Yet love can have no enemy, and so they have no cause, no being, and no consequence. They can be valued, but remain unreal. They can be sought, but they cannot be found. Today we will not seek for them, nor waste the day in seeking not what cannot be found. Today we will not seek for them, nor waste the day in seeking not what cannot be found. Not only do we want to let go of the idea that we're not going to seek for them, we all want to let go of the idea that they even would ever bring anything, ever. That they're even an idea to not to seek or not to seek. Let me read it one more time. Today we will not seek for them, nor waste this day in seeking not what cannot be found. Fear thoughts. It is impossible to see two worlds which have no overlap of any kind. Seek for one and the other disappears, but one remains. They are the range of choice beyond which your decisions cannot go. The real and the unreal are all there is to choose between, and nothing more than these. Today we will attempt no compromise where none is possible. The world you see is proof you have already made a choice as all-embracing as its opposite. What we would learn today is more than just the lesson that you cannot see two worlds. It also teaches that the one you see is quite consistent from the point of view from which you see it. It is all a piece because it stems from one emotion and reflects its source in everything you see. It either comes from love or comes from fear. 6 times today in thanks and gratitude, we gladly give 5 minutes to the thought which ends all compromise and doubt and go beyond them all as one. We will not make 1,000 meaningless distinctions, nor attempt to bring with us a little part of unreality as we devote our minds to finding only what is real. So 6 times today for 5 minutes. We're going to put in 30 minutes, but just 5 minutes at a time, but 6 times. Begin your searching for the other world by asking for a strength beyond your own beyond your searching for the other world by asking for a strength beyond your own, and recognize what it is you seek. You do not want illusions, and you come to these 5 minutes emptying your hands of all the petty treasures of this world. You wait for God to help you as you say, and say it with thankfulness, he says, and gratitude. It is impossible to see 2 worlds. Let me accept the strength God offers me, and see no value in this world, that I may find my freedom and deliverance. Again, it is impossible to see 2 worlds. Let me accept the strength God offers me, and see no value in this world, that I may find my freedom and deliverance. God will be there, for you have called upon the great unfailing power who will take this giant step with you in gratitude. Nor will you fail to see his thanks expressed in tangible perception and in truth. You will not doubt what you will look upon. For though it is perception, it is not the kind of seeing that your eyes alone have ever seen before. And you will know God's strength, upheld as you made this choice. And you will know God's strength upheld as you made this choice. Dismiss temptations easily today whenever it arises merely by remembering the limits on your choice. The unreal or the real, the false or the true is what you see, and only what you see. Perception is consistent with your choice, and hell or heaven comes to you as one. From fear comes hell, from love comes heaven. Accept a little part of hell as real, and you have damned your eyes and cursed your sight, and what you will behold is hell indeed. Yet the release of heaven still remains within your range of choice to take the place of everything that hell would show to you. All you need say to any part of hell, whatever form it takes, is simply this: it is impossible to see 2 worlds. I seek my freedom and deliverance. I seek my freedom and deliverance. And this is not a part of what I want. And it goes away. Okay, well, we'll come back to it is impossible to see 2 worlds. But let's go take a look in our text reading for today. And it's a little longer than I like to usually read, but I think we're going to try to just get through it. And I won't say much. And it's in chapter 14, bringing illusions to truth. And it's section 4, perception without deceit. And there's so much there. Oh my, it's such a good lesson. While you're turning there, let me tell you about a grape. You know, yesterday I told you that the muscadines were Vitis muscadinea. You know, I did find that online, but I think they're the rotundifolia. And I wanted to go ahead and tell you about the Vitis rotundifolia, one variety that does good here in my area. It was zone 6, and it's the Sugargate black muscadine, which we briefly mentioned yesterday. Well, out of the ediblelandscaping.com website, it says, fruit very large, skin dark, flavor excellent, sugar individual berries up to 21%. Fruit ripens earliest of our muscadines, vigorous, productive with large clusters, recommended by Professor John Clark, University of Arkansas Grape Breeding Program, as an excellent grape for the home owner. Quite a hit in the fall fruit day. Sugargate is a bud hardy. Sugargate is as bud hardy as Mars seedless grape. Native space 4 to 8 foot trellis, about 6 foot tall. Because Sugargate needs a mate, plant it with another flowering muscadine like Carlos, Isons, or Delicious, zone 6 through 9. Okay, and I think the Ison actually will grow in this area, but it's not really a zone 6, it's a zone 7. So be aware. Plant it in a protected area if at all possible. You know, on the south side of a big stone wall is an ideal. That's protected. Okay, what's going on around the world? Let's take a look here just a minute. We've got Alaska Mining Day, Clean Up Your Room Day. That's always a good thing to do. Confederate Memorial Day, Donated Days Wages to Charity Day, National Bike to School Day, National Lipid Day, National Night Shift Workers Day, National Receptionists Day, National Root Canal Appreciation Day, National School Nurse Day, National Shrimp Day, National Small Business Day, National Third Shift Workers Day, Occupational Safety and Health Professionals Day, One Day Without Shoes Day, Trust Your Intuition Day. A couple nice things to do. Walk without shoes and trust your intuition. World Facilities Management Day and World Lupus Day. Okay, so we got World Lupus Day and World Lipid Day. Okay, now let's go take a look in our reading. Perception without deceit. What do you want? Light or darkness? Knowledge or ignorance are yours, but not both. Opposites must be brought together and not kept apart, for their separation is only in your mind, and they are reconciled by union, as you are. In union, everything that is not real must disappear, for truth is union. That's why we don't want to block anything from our awareness or our sight, or try to push things away, because it'll only hurt us. He's going to develop this idea. As darkness disappears in light, so ignorance fades away when knowledge dawns. Perception is the medium by which ignorance is brought to knowledge. Yet the perception must be without deceit, for otherwise it becomes the messenger of ignorance rather than a helper in the search for truth. The search for truth is but the honest searching out of everything that interferes with truth. Truth is. It can be neither lost nor sought nor found. It is there, wherever you are, being within you. Yet it can be recognized or unrecognized, real or false to you. If you hide it, it becomes unreal to you because you hid it and surrounded it with fear. Under each cornerstone of fear on which you have erected your insane system of belief, the truth lies hidden. Yet you cannot know this, for by hiding truth in fear, you see no reason to believe. The more you look at fear, the less you see it, and the clearer what it conceals becomes. 26. It is not possible to convince the unknowing that they know. From their point of view, it is not true. It is true because God knows it. These are clearly opposite viewpoints of what the unknowing are. To God, unknowing is impossible. It is therefore not a point of view at all, but merely a belief in something that does not exist. It is only this belief that the unknowing have, and by it they are wrong about themselves. They have defined themselves as they were not created. Their creation was not a point of view, but rather a certainty. Uncertainty brought certainty, but does not retain any conviction of reality. 27. You must have noticed that the emphasis has been on bringing what is undesirable to the desirable, what you do not want to what you do. You will realize that salvation must come to you this way if you consider what dissociation is. Dissociation is a distorted process of thinking whereby two systems of belief which cannot coexist are both maintained. It has been recognized that if they were brought together, their joint acceptance would become impossible. But if one is kept in darkness from the other, their separation seems to keep them both alive and equal in their reality. Their joining thus becomes the source of fear, for if they meet, acceptance must be withdrawn from one of them. Wow, what a beautiful thought. You cannot have them both, for each denies the other. Apart, this fact is lost from sight, for each in a separate place can be endowed with firm belief. Bring them together, and the fact of their complete incompatibility is instantly apparent. Bring them together, and the fact of their complete incompatibility is instantly apparent. One will go because the other is seen in the same place. Light cannot enter darkness when a mind believes in darkness and will not let it go. Truth does not struggle against ignorance, and love does not attack fear. What needs no protection does not defend itself. Defense is of your making. God knows it not. The Holy Spirit uses defenses on behalf of truth only because you made them against it. His perception of them, according to His purpose, merely changes them into a call for what you have attacked with them. You might practice looking for those. You might look at that last sentence again, but we're not going to take the time today. But look for those defenses that you're holding and let them go, and to let what they were meant to hide come to the light. Don't be dissociating. 29. Defenses, like everything you made, must be gently turned to your own good, translated by the Holy Spirit from means of self-destruction to means of preservation and release. His task is mighty, but the power of God is with him. Therefore, to him it is so easy that it was accomplished the instant it was given him for you. Do not delay yourselves in your return to peace by wondering how he can fulfill what God has given him to do. Leave that to him who knows. You are not asked to do mighty tasks yourself. You're merely asked to do the little he suggests you do, trusting him only to the small extent of believing that if he asks it, you can do it. Your willingness, that's all he needs. You will see how easily all that he asks can be accomplished. 30. The Holy Spirit asks of you but this: bring to him every secret you have locked away from him. Open every door to him and bid him enter the darkness and lighten it away. At your request he enters gladly. He brings the light to darkness if you make the darkness open to him. But what you hide he cannot look upon, for he sees for you, and unless you look with him, he cannot see. The vision of Christ is not for him alone, but for him with you. Bring therefore all your dark and secret thoughts to him and look upon them with him. He holds the light and you the darkness. They cannot coexist when both of you together look on them. His judgment must prevail, and he will give way in which you learn, and he will give it. Okay, his judgment must prevail, and he will give it to you as you join your perception to his. Join with him in seeing is the way in which you learn to share with him the interpretation of perception that leads to knowledge. 31. You cannot see alone. Sharing perception with him whom God has given you teaches you how to recognize what you see. It is the recognition that nothing you see means anything alone. Seeing with him will show you that all meaning, including yours, comes not from double vision, but from the gentle fusing of everything into one meaning, one emotion, and one purpose. God has one purpose which He shares with you. The single vision which the Holy Spirit offers you will bring this oneness to your mind with clarity and brightness so intense you could not wish for all the world not to accept what God would have you have. Behold your will, accepting it as His, and all His love as yours. All honor to you through Him, and through Him unto God. 32. In the darkness you have obscured the glory God gave you and the power He bestowed upon His guiltless Son. All this lies hidden in every darkened place, shrouded in guilt and in the dark denial of innocence. Behind the dark doors which you have closed lies nothing, because nothing can obscure the gift of God. It is the closing of the doors that interferes with recognition of the power of God that shines in you. Banish not power from your mind, but let all that would hide your glory be brought to the judgment of the Holy Spirit, and there undone. Whom He would save for glory is saved for it. He has promised the Father that through Him you would be released from littleness to glory. To what He promised, God, He is wholly faithful, for He shared with God the promise that what was given Him to share with you. 33. He shares it still for you. Everything that promises otherwise, great or small, however much or little valued, He will replace with the one promise given unto Him to lay upon the altar to your Father and His Son. No altar stands to God without His Son, and nothing brought there that is not equally worthy of both, but will be replaced by gifts wholly acceptable to Father and to Son. Can you offer guilt to God? You cannot then offer it to His Son, for they are not apart, and gifts to one are offered to the other. Don't see your brother and sisters as guilty if you want to see God. You know not God because you know not this, and yet you do not know God, and also this. And yet you do know God, and also this. All this is safe within you, where the Holy Spirit shines. He shines not in division, but in the meeting place where God united with His Son, speaking to His Son through Him. Communication between what cannot be divided cannot cease. The holy meeting place of the unseparated Father and His Son lies in the Holy Spirit and in you. All interference in the communication that God Himself wills with His Son is quite impossible here. Unbroken and uninterrupted love flows constantly between the Father and the Son, as both would have it be, and so it is. Let your minds wander not through darkened corridors away from light's center. You may choose to lead yourselves astray, but you can only be brought together by the guide appointed for you. He will surely lead you to where God and His Son await your recognition. They are joined in giving you the gift of oneness, before which all separation vanishes. Unite with what you are. You cannot join with anything except reality. God's glory and His Son's belong to you in truth. They have no opposite, and nothing else can you bestow upon yourselves. There is no substitute for truth, and truth will make this plain to you as you are brought into the place where you must meet with truth. And there you must be led through gentle understanding, which can lead you nowhere else. Where God is, there you are. Such is the truth. Where God is, there you are. Such is the truth. Nothing can change the knowledge given you by God into an unknowingness. Everything God created knows its Creator, for this is how creation is accomplished, by the Creator and by His creations. In the holy meeting place are joined the Father and His creations, and the creations of His Son with them together. There is one link which joins them all together, holding them in the oneness out of which creation happens. In the last paragraph, 37, the link with which the Father joins Himself to those He gives the power to create like Him can never be dissolved. Heaven itself is union with all of creation and with its one creator. And heaven remains the will of God for you. Lay no gifts other than this upon your altar, for nothing can coexist beside it. Here your meager offerings are brought together with the gift of God, and only what is worthy of the Father will be accepted by the Son, for whom it was intended. To whom God gives himself, he is given. Your little gifts will vanish on the altar, where he has placed his own. So what gifts are you going to put on the altar? Well, I'd probably put gifts like doubt, defenses, and fear on that altar and let God make them vanish. Okay, that definitely took a little longer than we usually take, but let's sing our song. Remember to do your 30 minutes by taking 5 minutes 6 times today, and then throughout the day, tell yourself it is impossible to see two worlds. I'll sing it to you. Okay, here's what you'll say before your 5 minutes. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. Let me accept the strength God offers me and see no value in this world, that I may find my freedom and deliverance, that I may find my freedom and deliverance. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. And then throughout the day, every hour, say this. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. All you need to say to any part of hell is simply this. All you need to say to any part of hell is simply this. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. I seek my freedom and deliverance. I seek my freedom and deliverance. And this is not a part of what I want. And this is not a part of what I want. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. It is impossible to see two worlds. It is impossible. No fly wanted to sit right on my nose. It is impossible to see two worlds. I seek my freedom and deliverance. All you need to say to any part of hell is simply this. It is impossible to see two worlds. I seek my freedom and deliverance. And this is not a part of what I want. It is impossible to see two worlds.